Hello, and I hope you're having a great day. Today we're starting Proverbs chapter 17. Verse 1. Better is a dry morsel with quietness than a house full of feasting with strife. You know what? Peace in your house is something everyone strives for. I would agree with this. If you're in a feast and everybody's arguing with one another, it's not a whole lot of fun. It better have less food, but everybody on the same page, everybody enjoying one another. We should strive for a quietness, a peace in our house. There's so much going around in the world, so much outside the world happening in our jobs, in our just everyday lives, schools, things like that. That at home we need to strive to have a godly, joyful, peace-loving home. And some ways to do that. Hey, tell people to check their stuff at the door. Hey, we're going to pray before we do anything. We're going to sing a worship song. We're going to read a verse of the Bible. That tends to keep things down and before things get started. If you ask God first, He's able to keep those things out. Because sometimes things just come from the middle of nowhere. Now start with God and see what happens. A wise servant will rule over a son who causes shame, and will share an inheritance among the brothers. Sometimes our children were going to do things that bring shame, and there's some whole cultures that the child brings shame, then they actually shun the child. What a wise servant will rule. Now, what's rule mean? It doesn't mean boss someone around. Ruling means that they do. A ruler is supposed to do what's best for the people underneath him, and that's what a wise servant will do. A wise servant of the Lord will see people that are doing things and say, "You know what? I'm going to do what's best for you. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to be there for you. I'm not going to put you away." And also, a wise servant will share an inheritance among the brothers. Hey, I'm going to share that wisdom. I'm going to share what I have gathered together among my family and those who are with me. I'm going to not just keep it to myself. A lot of times people do that. And God says, no, but let's pass it around. Let's see what we can do to help one another. The refining pot is for silver and the furnace for gold, but the Lord tests the hearts. We have a whole, he's talking about the refining pot. They would heat this up and they would put the gold and the silver in there, and it was heated up. The dross or the bad impurities of the metals would come out, so then they could scoop that off the top and have pure gold and pure silver. The problem, and we could do that with material things. We could test a lot of things, but one thing we really can't test in people's lives are the hearts. People have you ever heard people say one thing and then do another, or is that really what they're thinking inside? But God says He's the one that purifies our heart. He tests the heart, and sometimes He's going to test everybody's heart, so that's great. But another thing is, why not allow God? We're not perfect. We all have impurities that once in a while need to be uh come to the top, so God can scoop them out, and so the good, pure can remain. That's a good discipline to go through. God, purify my heart today. God, take my heart and do something with it. Purify that in my life today. And it's not a bad thing to do. Number 4, an evil doer gives heed to false lips, and a liar listens eagerly to a spiteful tongue. Yeah, a verse kind of a dove verse, right? An evildoer gets heed to false lips, and a liar listens to a spiteful tongue, right? Because they're going after, because the liar's like, I'm lying, and someone gets, and the lies turn someone into spite to someone, and anything that turns the attention away from the liar, the evildoer, is great. So when someone's doing those things, it just makes things get worse and worse and worse. And what we need to do is stand up when we see people doing that and say, hey, this is not right. It's okay to do that. Part of the Bible is useful not just for teaching and training, but it's also used for correcting, rebuking righteousness, because sometimes people can be led astray, and a Christian can sit by and go, oh man, they got beat up. Yeah, do something. Stop it. Verse 5, he who mocks the poor reproaches his maker. He who is glad at calamity will not go unpunished. This verse says God does not make junk. No matter you where are in your status in life, you have the opportunity to become part of God's family by asking Jesus Christ into your life, and immediately you become a child of the King. And things might not go so well here on earth, but God says, I will bless you so you can bless others, but you're guaranteed riches and glory forever in heaven. And those that mock you and those are glad when bad things happen to you, God says here very carefully, they will not go unpunished. You ever heard the phrase, no good deed goes unpunished. He's like, do good and people don't care about it. Here's the thing, that's true. But here's the thing, they might not care about it now, but God watches everything. And He says, here's the thing, he who is glad at calamity will not go what? unpunished. So God is there watching to make sure things will be taken care of at all time, and He wants to know you can do the right thing and stand in the right thing, even though whatever happens, God is there for you. I hope you have a great day. Remember, Jesus loves you. I love you, and you're absolutely awesome.